Good afternoon. It's great to be back on the mat with yourselves. My name is Mark, and this is Akwaaba Yoga, another Sunday morning session. First end of each month that's unrolling this year, and I hope everyone's had a great week. It's going to be a 25-minute session. If it's the first time tuning in, or if you're watching on playback, again, Akwaaba, welcome. And enjoy the practice. As always, listen to your body. Enjoy the different asanas that we're coming into, and just really try and focus on connecting your breath to your movements. We'll be starting in stillness to begin with before finishing in stillness. But let's get going. Good to see you, B, and anyone else able to tune in. We're going to start. In child's pose. So let's come into balasana. So we're coming lengthways onto the mat. Knees apart, feet together. Let's come down onto our heels as close as our bodies will allow. If it's a little bit tight, always feel free to maybe place a towel underneath the back of the thighs just to add a bit of a cushion. And then lengthen out the arms across the mat. And then just bring the forehead down. Just let it hang heavy. Maybe the forehead touches the mat. If it's elevated, feel free to use a block or a tall book, just so that you're able to relax into your neck. The palms are facing the floor. Start to feel connected to the ground. Feel the mat underneath the hands, the palms. And as you're just in your natural breath, feel the belly pressing up against the thighs on each inhale as you're drawing in breath all the way deep into the belly, and as you exhale, you just feel the air coming out from the belly, through the throat, out through the nose and the mouth. Just keep the natural breath going here for a few moments. Last month, my headphones went a bit MIA, so hopefully I'm coming through nice and clearly today. Whilst we're in balasana, just become aware of the body, become aware of any places that we might be consciously or unconsciously just holding tension. We might be gripping or tensing the shoulders. Shoulders might be raised. If they are, just consciously start to relax into the shoulders. We tighten the jaw. If we are, just maybe start to motion the jaw clockwise and anti-clockwise. And then relax. Just take note if we're gripping into the mat. If we are, just go along with the fingers across the mat and relax. From here, we're going to start to come into our Ujjayi breath. Just going to guide our practice for the next 20 minutes or so now. So we're inhaling in through the nose, bringing the slight restrictions to the back of the throat, and exhaling out through the nose. Just keep that going. Inhaling in through the nose, and exhale out through the nose. So you're creating that whisper-like sound in the room. A couple more rounds at your own time. And on the next breath, let's come up onto all fours. So keeping the hands where they are. Perhaps hip distance apart. Knees to feet hip distance apart. We're going to start to come into undulations through the back. So we're going to barrel the belly down. So taking our cat and cow, the tailbone goes high. Take the gaze up. Belly comes down. On the exhale, press the hands into the mat as we round in the upper back. Leveling up through the spine, and again. Reverse it out. Deep inhale in. The belly comes down, tailbone goes high, gaze goes up. Exhale to draw the belly in, take the gaze to the navel. And again. Just keep the undulations going. Finding movement in the spine, drawing the shoulder blades together as you take the gaze up. And on the exhale, pressing the hands into the mat, drawing the shoulder blades apart. Find a space in the upper back. Let's just come into a freestyle here for a few breaths. So take the body in any which way you feel today. Maybe take a figure of 8 with the hips. Maybe bring the bum back down to the heels and we're long in the arms. Maybe we're pressing the hips forward. Taking an upward facing dog position. Just explore your movement here and discover areas of tightness and just start to iron out. Before we come back into stillness, we're meeting once again in our tabletop. We're going to curl the toes under, press our hands into the floor, lift the knees up as we come into our downward facing dog. Just finding movement in our calves by lifting one heel at a time. We're energetically drawing our heels down towards the mat. The aim isn't to have the heels touching the mat, we're just exploring the range of movement we've got in our bodies. And let's come into stillness. Pressing our hands into the floor. Again, energetically drawing the heels down. Take the gaze towards the back of the mat, maybe in between the legs. On the next breath, let's all come high on our toes. And we're going to all just tiptoe, keeping our hands on the earth towards the front of the mat until you can't go any further. And then let's meet in our forward fold. Our feet, our hips distance apart. Maybe take a slight bend in the knees, and we're just swaying the body from left to right here. We're nice and heavy with the torso, with the head. Let's feel grounded in the floor by bringing awareness to the soles of our feet. Maybe massage out the floor with the toes. So we feel nicely well supported. And if we're swinging, just come to stillness. I'm going to take a twist over to each side. So we're going to take our right hand and place it even on the outside of the left thigh, the left calf. Maybe if it's there for us to grab underneath the left sole of the foot, take any variation that suits. And when I start to open the body up towards the left side of the room by lifting up that left arm, just follow the left hand up with the gaze. Sort of taking a bend into that right knee. And maybe going long in that left leg for 2, for 1. And let's release out. Get the torso, the head is heavy. This is a nice stretch, actually, for the lower back. If you wake up in the morning with lower back pain, I like to come into this position just to find some release. Let's take the other side. So this time, taking the left hand on the outside of the right thigh or the right calf, or maybe the outside of the right side of the foot. Any hand variation works. And again, we're floating that right arm up just to our edge as far as the body will allow. This I'm going to take my right hand, place it on the lower back, on our sacrum. I'm going to open up towards the right side of the room and relax. Let's come back into our forward fold. Then we're going to come to a halfway lift, so hands on the shins, lengthen out through the arms, draw the belly and take the gaze towards the front of the mat, nice long in the neck, and exhale to release. Again, maybe taking a bend in the knees. And we go again, inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And on the next breath, we're keeping the torso heavy, the head heavy. We're rolling up one vertebra at a time. Slowly coming to a standing position, keeping the chin towards the chest. So come to the top, start to roll the shoulders back. As we open up through the front of the body, lift the chin off the chest. Let's meet into Asana. Our palms facing forwards. Our feet hip distance apart. Again, we're feeling the mat underneath our feet here. Just close the eyes for a couple of moments. Just become aware of the movement that we've given ourselves so far. The time we've taken to connect with our breath. Slow the pace down, particularly if we've had a hectic week. Let's bring our hands into prayer in the center of our chest. On the next breath, take an inhale in as we lift the prayer up towards the ceiling. Again, follow the hands of the gaze. On the exhale, bend the front of the hips to come all the way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees as much as we need so we can place the hands down at the front of the mat. So we're going to step back with the left foot, step back with the right foot as we meet in a high plank, our Kumbhakasana. We're high on the toes here. Or feel free to bring the knees down towards the mat. Either variation is still a high plank. Whether we are going to bend into the elbows to start to bring the chest down and curl the toes. I'm going to press up into low cobra. Lifting the chest away, drawing the elbows, tucking them in towards the ribs. So finding space in front of the chest. On the exhale, lift up through the bum, through the hips. Start to take the bum towards the heels. Let's come back into our balasana. And child's pose as we start the class. From here, let's press up into our tabletop. Hands, knees, and feet, hip distance apart. Curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale in here. And exhale out. Let's lift the right leg up so it's parallel with the floor. Curling the toes towards the face. Maybe taking the gaze towards the back of the room. I'm going to draw the knee through the body. Taking the right foot and placing it just inside of the right hand. At the front of the mat, so high on the back toes. So both feet are facing forwards. We've got bend in that right knee, maybe at a 90-degree angle. When we feel grounded and stable for that right foot. And strong in that left leg. Pressing the heels towards the back of the room. Start to peel the chest away. As we lift up through the torso. Coming to our high lunge. Nice and long in the torso. Engaging for the core. And feel free to place the hands on the right thigh here. Just play with the balance. If we're falling out, it's all good. There's no judgment at all. Exploring our bodies, exploring our balance and our movements. Keep the hands where they are. Feel free to lift the arms up. Use side of the ears. For 2. For 1. Let's cut all the hands down towards the front of the mat. And then we're going to press through the left toes and jump that left foot forward. Or shuffle it forward, and let's meet once again at the front of our mat in our forward fold. Exhale out. Let's take a deep inhale in to come up for a halfway lift, hands on the shins. Lengthen out through the arms, taking the gaze just beyond the front of the mat. Exhale to release. On the next breath, let's shoot the arms up towards the ceiling. We're long in the arms. Really breathing beyond the body here. Nice and long in the body. Let's bring the hands into prayer, back to the center of our chest. Lovely, let's come to the other side. On the inhale, let's take the prayer
up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in. On exhale, bend from the hips to come all the way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. I'm coming to chair pose. So I'm going to swing the arms up towards the front diagonal, start to sink down into our seat, bringing the bum down towards the floor. Again, there's no judgment, we're not any rush to impress no one that's watching, to impress ourselves. Just taking a bend in the knees and going again to our edge. Really try and take the arms towards the front diagonal. Engage it for the core for 2. For 1, maybe start to feel a burn in the thighs. And come back into our forward fold. Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend into the knees as much as we need. Maybe the heels lift up so we can take our hands towards the front of the mat. Step back with the left foot. Step back with the right foot. High plank. Kumbhakasana. Again, feel free to drop the knees or bend into the elbows to come down for a low plank. Whichever variation we're in, we're pressing through the toes and coming up into a low cobra or upward facing dog. So lengthen that through the arms. Drawing the elbows in. Drawing the hips forward. And on the exhale, curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. And exhale out through the nose. Let's come into the opposite side. Get more masses right, then lifting up through the left leg this time. So the left leg is parallel to the floor. Curling the toes in towards the face. If you want to take the left leg out towards the back diagonal, I invite you to do so. Either variation works. I'm going to draw the knee through the body, coming up into a high lunge. So placing the left foot just in front of, just inside of the left hand, behind the right toes. The right leg, we're drawing the heel towards the back of the room. So nice and strong and grounded for that right leg. Keeping a bend in that left knee. Grounded for the left foot when we're ready. Perhaps we take the hands to the left thigh as we peel our chest away. We're nice and long in the torso. Engaging through the core. Again, maybe keep the hands on the thigh or take the arms up towards the ceiling. For 2. For 1. Let's bring the hands down towards the front of the mat. And this time we're going to jump the left foot back to meet the right foot. So I'm meeting once again in our high plank, our Kumbhakasana. From here, we're going to come into a side plank. So I'm going to drop onto our right shin. Just bring the right knee into the center of the mat. And bring that left heel down. So the left sole of the foot is flat on the floor. Just motion the right hand towards the middle of the mat. The right hand is sitting just underneath the right shoulder blade. And when you're ready, start to lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, we're opening out through the chest over towards the left side of the room. Taking the gaze out towards the left hand. We'll let the head hang loose. Take our gaze towards the floor. For 2. For 1. Let's bring our left hand down towards the mat. Hands go hip distance apart once again. From here, we're going to push back up into our high plank, our Kumbhakasana. And coming to the opposite side. So bringing the left knee towards center. Dropping down to the left shin. Taking the left hand towards the middle of the mat. Bringing the right heel down. And then lifting up through that right arm. Open the body up towards the right side of the room. We can stay in this variation. Or if we wanted to lengthen that through that left leg, we're stacking that right leg on top of that left leg. Comes that banana shape by drawing the hips up towards the ceiling. Whichever variation we're in, here for number 2. Another 1. Let's come back to our high plank. Let's press through the toes, bend into the elbows for low plank. Let's come up for our upward facing dog, tucking the elbows in, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Take a long, deep inhale in and exhale out. Let's come high in the toes, jump, step, or walk. Let's meet at the front of the mat in our forward fold. We're going to bend into the knees, lift up through the heels, start to bring our bums down onto the floor. And go long in the legs. Explore some movement through our legs here. So sit up nice and high. On our butt cheeks, if you've got a tall block or book, sometimes I like to give myself a little bit of height. I'm going to take the arms up towards the ceiling, long deep breath in here. And on the exhale, again, we're pivoting from the hips, drawing the chest forward. So rather than dropping the neck down, nice and long in the neck. And drawing the chest energetically towards the shins. And see where your hands land. Maybe they land either side of the thighs or underneath the knees, maybe underneath the calves, maybe underneath the soles of the feet. Again, we're keeping the neck nice and long, drawing the chest towards the shins. We're engaging through the toes here, so the toes are curled in towards our face. We're finding the stretch through the back of the legs here, so we should feel the stretch. Engagement through the back of the calves, the hamstrings. For number 2. Another 1. Slowly start to come out. Let's step nice and high. Come off the block here. We're going to come into a supine twist. So let's place both soles of our feet flat on the floor. Our knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. Let's have a play of our core. Let's take the arms either side of the legs. And slowly start to bring the back down towards the floor. See how far we can go. We'll lie flat on the mat with our backs. Let's start by going long in that left leg. We're taking that right knee and drawing it in towards our chest. And taking our left hand on the outside of the right knee. I'm going to draw that right knee up and over, across the body over towards the left side of the room. Now, right knee may hover off the floor. It may touch the floor. Wherever you are, just place the left hand, if it's there, just on top of the right thigh. Take the right arm over towards the right side of the room. We're taking our gaze over towards the right hand. So twisting through the lower back here. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. It's a nice stretch to come into, a nice asana for those of us that might have issues with sciatica or lower back pain. This is another nice asana I like to explore in the mornings. Start to release by drawing that right knee back towards center. And let's swap and take the opposite side. I'm going to shuffle the body over towards the left side of the room, left side of the mat, to create a bit more space. I'm going to go along that right leg. This time take both hands and
maybe clasp behind the back of the left thigh. If it's there to wrap around the front of the left shin, just draw it in towards the body. Take the right hand up and over the outside of the left knee. Start to draw that left leg across the body, over towards the right side of the room. Open up through the body by taking the left hand towards the left side of the room. Follow the hand with the gaze. Maybe take the right hand and place it on top of the left thigh. For another 3. Another 2. Number 1. Slowly start to release out. We're going to come into our Shavasana for a few breaths. So this is our final asana. Long the legs. Place the arms either side of the body, facing the palms up. Just let the feet flop out to the sides. Take one final long breath in through the nose. And let's release the Ujjayi by breathing out through the mouth. Sigh it out. Spine ourselves, come back into our natural breath. And relax. Just embrace the opportunity to become still here. Be aware of any noises in the background. But just know that the noises, the external distractions, don't define our energy, our mood. Just feel the mat underneath the body, underneath the heels, the calves, the back of the knees maybe, the hamstrings, the glutes, the back, the spine, the back of the arms, the back of the hands, tops of the shoulder blades, and the back of the skull. To feel supported and grounded and safe where you are. Feel free to stay in Shavasana. As we draw the session to a close, let's just bring the knees in towards the chest. Give them one final hug in. And then rock up into a seated position. I'm going to come sit on a block. See if we come cross-legged or maybe onto our shins. Just lift the chin off the chest, draw the shoulders back. So sit up nice and tall. Take a final breath in. And release. Your eyes are closed. I'd like to blink them open. And thank you. Thank you very much for showing up, for being live or watching on playback when that moment comes. I hope you had a decent session. It's good to be practicing once again with yourselves on the mat. And yeah, look forward to being back in April. Years flying by. Thank you, Queen P and B and D-Man. Thumbs up. And yeah, have a great week. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you, D-Man. It's always a pleasure. Take care, guys. Thanks for the feedback, Queen P. Appreciated.